Well, my name is Oliver Cotton, and I play a character called Arturo Sant'Agnello in the play, who is a baker. Joint Stock was a creation of Bill Gaskell and Max Steffer Clark. I did their first production and their second production, and it was in my memory, but everything's in one's memory, so I can't say it was. But for me, it was a very exciting time. I mean, I was at that time. There was a sort of, as a young actor, there seemed in memory to be more opportunities in some way. I mean, I was going between the Royal Court, Joint Stock, the National Theatre, playing, and the RSC, and playing in all these venues all the time. I was very lucky, but it was also, I wasn't alone in that. There were lots of people doing that, and it was very exciting. The play, the form of the play, is a bit classical. It is a bit like a strange kind of Jacobean revenge tragedy, or in some ways like a Greek play. It does have a kind of classical model to it, and but it's not classical. I have travelled in Italy. I've worked in Italy. I did a rather notorious series called The Borgias in 1980 with a fantastic Italian actor called Adolfo Celli, who's now dead, sadly. And we became great friends. And we filmed in Italy for 3 months, all around Tuscany and Umbria, and in a little bit in Rome. And so, yeah, I mean, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And knowing Adolfo, who was Sicilian, and he was supposed to, he was mooted to play the Godfather before Brando. He was going to, because he's really Sicilian. And yeah. I mean, the play's actually set in 1960, just coming out of. That's a kind of complicated question, because I don't know if I could answer what lessons. I mean, what lessons does any play have to teach? I mean, it's fantastic if people walk away, if any of us walk away from a play and say, God, that's made me think about this or made me think about that. I think this play goes into something which is very surprising about sort of bottomless hatred, and where bottomless hatred leads, and how it can't be. I mean, in the same way that there are some things in life which you can't understand, like in Othello, nobody really knows why Iago does what he does to Othello. And Iago doesn't really know why he's done what he's done. Or if he does, he keeps it so buried that. And in this play, there is a kind of subject matter of a sort of bottomless hatred, which. So, I think it's not that people go away with any. What they take away should be questions. I suppose that's the best thing that anyone can take away from questions from any play is why couldn't Hamlet make up his mind? Why couldn't, what is the thing that's stopping him? And the questions are the most important thing, and I think that's what they should go away with. That is the thing. What alternative? You could say that about life and about play, about characters in plays. Well, he could have done this. Why didn't he do this? If only he had done that, or if only he'd stopped to think. If only, if only, if only. And I think there's lots of points in this play where, as I said, this subject matter of kind of hatred and I can't think of what's the word, disassociation in a way, sort of takes over. And the law is absent, the law, but there is a law here of a local law of rather like in The Godfather. It is very similar. It's very similar in that sense that you have a Don who, except that this is a Don who's not particularly interested in crime. He's interested in trying to help people, but he has great power, and but it's very similar in that way that in a society like this, and I mean all over the world now. I mean, there's places like in Russia or Italy or something, where a family will take over an area, and the police just, for most, it's like a princeling. People go to the Don for their problems, to have their problems sorted out. And it doesn't always mean murder or vengeance, or, you know, it can sometimes just be somebody just intervening, arbitrating, or killing. I'll make him an offer he can't refuse. I do love working in the theatre, but it's not because I would love to do more films. They just don't fall into my lap. I mean, I have done some. It happens that I've done more theatre, and it's kind of how I've earned my living, really. More, but with film and TV, I think the answer is that if the play is good or the film is good, that's what you want to do. If the play is bad or the film is bad, that's what you don't want to do. And yeah. But sometimes the thing is that you're more likely to do a bad movie than a bad play, because a bad movie will pay you quickly and you can get out, and that's that. And that's why so many people do bad movies. It's not because they wanted to do the movies, because it paid them. Where if you do a play, you're stuck in it, and you better not go into it if it's not something you think you're gonna, if it's gonna drive you nuts. I like being onto it. It's nice. You do have time to explore a place which you wouldn't normally be in. So yeah, I do like that. I mean, I was very lucky in that. A year out of leaving drama school, I auditioned for the National Theatre under Laurence Olivier, and I got in, and I was there for 2 years. So that was rather like, you know, being with God. I mean, it was a unbelievable, awe-inspiring experience to be able to be in plays with him and watch him from the wings. And so he influenced me hugely, even though I was too young to understand quite what he was doing, because I used to stand in the wings and look at him and think, I don't know how you're doing I don't quite understand what you're doing, but it's obviously fantastic. But yeah, he was a huge influence on me. And then I've been very lucky that I've worked with, with a whole, what's the word? A variety of different kinds of. I did many plays with John Gielgud, about 6 plays, different plays with him, and he was a big influence on me. He was completely different from Olivier. He was very different sort of animal. But yeah, I mean, I did learn an enormous amount from working with him, and I don't think there's any. I mean, I've worked with a lot of quite so-called big famous actors. I mean, Paul Scofield as well. I worked with, and I think you learn from people in a sort of intravenous way. You know, it's a sort of subconscious way. You don't say, "Oh, I see, you'll do it like that." But you pick things up about approaches, and also from American actors a lot. I mean, I worked with George C. Scott, which was amazing for me, and Marlon Brando. That was amazing. So I have worked with a lot of people. But yeah, I have learned a lot from those, but not enough. One of the humbling things about being an actor is that you reach this at the age you are, which I am now, which is fairly old, and you think, I really don't know very much. It's not like, you know, you start at 20 and then you progress, and so geometric progression, you get better and better and better until you are like, you know, and then you used to look at some young kid and you go, my God, how's he doing that? It's brilliant. What a fantastic thing. And that's, of course, I mean, that's just true. I think that's true, that you always come back to the basics, and having to. Most plays you feel like you've never done a play before, because you quickly know you have, but it's always difficult. And so yeah, you learn a lot from young people, and people in this, and the kids in this play are terrific. Yeah.